Bob's here. We can start now. I'm afraid so. They call. That was always this way. Yeah.
And that's read your rules. I'm gonna look at it.
Yeah, they should do a copy.
I was wondering if you were sitting over there trying to hide.
What is that? It's on the YouTube. Yeah. All right, we good? Awesome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this April meeting. We're gonna let Bobby get up here. Thank you, sir. Wonderful. I'm excited to call this April 14th, 2026 City Council meeting to order and welcome everyone here and to all of you watching on our YouTube channel. Pastor Chris Howe, can you come forward and give our invocation? Thank you so much for being here.
Let's just pray together. Have to work together.
Thank you so much, Pastor. If you could stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as written.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to request an item. I'd like to ask for the council to consider going into closed session to discuss a personnel issue in accordance with NCGS Section 143-318.11A6. I'd like to make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss a personnel issue in accordance with NCGS Section 143-318.11A6.
Second the motion.
Okay. Is there any other, I know you can't share a lot of context, but is there any other context you want to share about this closed session?
No, not right now.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimous. Renee?
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so with the addition of the closed session, I will entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda with the addition.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Awesome. Thank you guys so much. All right. Let's kick off our proclamations with Denim Day. If my Crossroads board and Chief Neal and Assistant Chief Sis can meet me. All right. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. This is a really important proclamation. So this proclamation proclaiming April 29th, 2026 as Denim Day, Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the city of Graham. Whereas April is nationally recognized as Sexual Assault Awareness Month, a time to raise public awareness about sexual violence and to educate communities on how to prevent it. And whereas sexual assault affects individuals of every age, gender, race, and socioeconomic background, and the impacts can have lasting physical, emotional, and psychological consequences for survivors, their families, and the community. And whereas Denim Day began as an international campaign to stand in solidarity with survivors and to challenge harmful myths and misconceptions about sexual violence, and whereas Denim Day serves as a visible demonstration of support for survivors and a commitment to fostering a culture of respect, consent, and accountability. And whereas raising awareness through education, advocacy, and community engagement plays a critical role in preventing sexual violence and supporting survivors. And whereas communities are encouraged to wear denim as a symbol of protest against victim blaming and to promote conversations about consent, respect, and the importance of ending sexual violence. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Chelsea Dickey, and the Graham City Council do hereby proclaim April 29th, 2026 as Denim Day in recognition of Sexual Assault Awareness Month and encourage all residents, employees, and community members to wear denim, support survivors, and participate in activities that promote awareness, prevention, and respect for all. This 14th day of April. We're going to take a picture, but I would love for you guys to tell the community and the council about the event on the 29th as well. So hold the Let's take our picture. Thank you, Renee. Well, I will be a model. I am modeling denim on Denim Day, but you have to explain.
So we have our annual Denim Day dinner and fashion show at 6:30 to 8:30 on the 29th. And so we're excited for anybody to come. You do have to pay for a ticket. But a little bit of history on Denim Day. It's an Italian Supreme Court decision. A rape conviction was overturned because the Italian Supreme Court said that she had to have been complicit, the 18-year-old had to have been complicit in her own rape because she was wearing jeans. And so on that, in 1999 is when we established Denim Day. And so Crossroads has a fundraiser on that evening. So please visit our website. We will have models. I believe the mayor of the city of Burlington is also going to be modeling, and Elon, and now the mayor of Graham. So we're very excited if you all want to join us. You want to tell some? Okay. Crossroads is an organization that was founded 50 years ago as Alamance Rape Crisis or Rape Crisis Alliance. It became Alamance Rape Crisis. We also have a child advocacy center, and we also have an anti-human trafficking program. Our agency covers Alamance, Caswell, and Person counties.
We have a website.
It's www.crossroadscares.org. So 2 S's, or like 7 S's, but crossroadscares.org. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. The second of 3 proclamations. Can I call Mr. Brian Fawcett up here to receive our litter sweep? This proclamation proclaiming April 15th through the 25th, 2026 as litter sweep in the city of Graham. This is whereas the North Carolina Department of Transportation sponsors Litter Sweep, a biannual statewide litter removal initiative. And whereas volunteers and maintenance crews devote time during the sweep to safely remove litter from our roadways. And whereas all municipalities and citizens in Alamance County are invited to participate in Litter Sweep by New Leaf Society, a nonprofit organization that partners with local governments and NCDOT to improve the county's curb appeal. And whereas local governments play an essential role in promoting clean communities through public works, leadership, and environmental stewardship. And whereas clean and beautiful outdoor spaces build a sense of belonging, enhance livability, and support economic development. And whereas spring is traditionally a time to celebrate nature and renewal. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Chelsea Dickey, and the Graham City Council do hereby proclaim April 15th through 25th, 2026 as Litter Sweep in the city of Graham. Furthermore, I urge all residents to support efforts to protect and enhance the appearance of our city by reducing litter. Thanks, Ms. Renee. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have Arbor Day. Will you join me up front and support? All right. This proclamation proclaiming April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the city of Graham. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Whereas trees can be a solution for combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling cost, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable source that give us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values and enhance the economic vitality of business areas and beautify our community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Chelsea Dickey, and the Graham City Council proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the city of Graham and challenge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Yes, you want to? Thank you. Okay. All right, now we've got a very special recognition. If Jay Cook and Brian Fawcett could join me up front. All right. So this is pretty special because Jay Cook's a pretty special guy. This is a recognition and appreciation honoring Jay Cook as a 2025 Volunteer of the Year by Graham Recreation and Parks and Graham City Council. This is for serving on the Graham Recreation and Parks Commission since 2002, serving as chair for 10 plus years. For co-founding and serving on the Graham Sports Hall of Fame since 2002, for co-founding and serving on the board of the Friends of Graham Recreation and Parks since 2016, for serving on numerous steering committees that directed the creation of master plans for the Graham Recreation and Parks Department, and for coaching countless youth in recreation and school leagues. The City of Graham thanks you for your effort and dedication to making Graham a better place to live and play. Thank you, Jack. Do you want to say anything?
Thank
you. Okay. Thank you. All right. If I could call Miss Patricia up, we will hear our audit presentation. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to be here tonight to discuss the audit for June 30th, 2025. My name is Patricia Rhodes. I'm a partner with Stout, Stewart, McGowan and King in Burlington. I have Joey Pergison, who works on the audit team with me, and also Becky Loy from Kabaziku Loy is here tonight. We are the independent auditors for the city of Graham. And as independent auditors, we work for the council. We work with the staff of the city on the audit, but as auditors, we work for the council. This is the 11th year of the arrangement with Becky Loy and Kabaziku Loy, who they work with the city finance staff to streamline the year-end process and assist with the preparation of the financial statements. They also provide assistance during the year on other accounting matters, and they know your systems and your processes. But the reason for this arrangement is, as auditors, we cannot prepare the financial statements and do some of those services for you because that impairs our independence as independent auditors. We have submitted the audit to the local government commission. But we have not gotten approval yet, so we can't officially release the financial statements. But I can give you a presentation and kind of tell you how things ended up. Our audit opinion letter states that the preparation of the financial statements is the responsibility of management. And the expression of an opinion on the financial statements based on our audit is the responsibility of the auditor. The financial statements were prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and the audit was performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. We are rendering an unmodified opinion, which is the best and the cleanest opinion that can be received. For the year ending June 30th, 2025, there were a few changes to the statements from the prior year, mainly due to the adoption of Governmental Accounting Standards Board pronouncement number 101, compensated absences, and number 102, certain risk disclosures. GASB 101 actually changed the statements a fair amount, because what happened is sick leave was added to the calculation of compensated absences in the accrual. And the city was already accruing vacation leave, but they added the sick leave. So that added an additional liability to the statement of net position for the city. So you can imagine that was a fairly large number, but it was a required adoption. When you actually get the audit report, I invite you to look at the management discussion and analysis. This is a good overall summary of a very large report, and especially the financial highlights. And I'm going to just touch on a few tonight. The net position for the city at June 30th, 2025 was $169,000,000 and $6,297. The net position actually increased during the year of $30,369,000. The general fund, the available fund balance in the general fund was $13,240,000. That's 62% of the total general fund expenditures for the fiscal year. And that's always kind of a talking point with a lot of municipalities on where you fall as far as your percentage of your available fund balance. So 62% is fairly healthy. The city actually has a fund balance policy, and they want that to stay at least 30%. So there's a potential for some fund balance to be used in the future, if needed, maybe, for some either purchases or projects in the future. So you're sitting in a pretty good position at that 62%. And also, the debt decreased by a little over $638,000, which is wonderful. You want your debt, to go down, and so that was very encouraging. Now, we'll take a look at the slides now, and if you can, we'll start with the first slide is the general fund, and this is on the budgetary basis. And you can it's kind of hard to see, but I think with your handouts, you might can see it a little bit better. The general fund revenues, total revenues, actually increased from the prior year a little over $1,700,000. The tax revenue increase was a little over $620,000. And the sales tax revenue increased a little over $640,000. The expenditures increased about $1,300,000, and there was actually an increase in the fund balance for the general fund of $1,132,000. The tax collection rate remains high, and it's at 98.39%. So that's a pretty healthy collection rate, but that's where you want to be. As far as the water and sewer fund, on the budgetary basis, the revenue increased a little over, from the prior year, a little over $2 million. Now, if you remember, there was a rate increase from the prior year of about 9.5%. And you have to keep up in the water and sewer fund, because that's an enterprise fund. It's like a business. You're running it like a business, and you got to realize that you have infrastructure that you have to keep up to date and constantly make changes to that infrastructure. So it's important to keep the rates, where, where you're, able to, do the improvements to the infrastructure. The expenses or expenditures increased modestly of about $330,000 from the prior year. And you actually had a revenues over expenditures in the water and sewer fund of almost $5.7 million. The next slide is just some important balances, overall balances of the city, and some ratios. And a couple of ratios I want to put your attention to is the operating expenses per day. For the general fund, to operate on a daily basis, the city needs $58,209. That's a lot of money. But it's a pretty good sized city. So you want to keep that in mind, that you have to have enough cash to be able to carry, the expenditures. So the number of days available in cash and investments less any current liabilities is 230 days. In the water and sewer fund, the operating expenses per day is $27,598. And the number of days available in cash and less the liabilities is 467 days. The overall cash for the city is a little over $40 million. That's cash investments and restricted cash. And like I said earlier, the net position for the city is a little over $169 million. There were a couple of letters there with your report. The first letter is a required disclosure, and it's required by our professional standards to communicate things to the council. And I'll just summarize the letter. We had no problems performing our audit. We had no difficulties or disagreements with management during our audit. The second letter is a management letter, and we consider internal control during our audit. And we're required to report to the council any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that come to our attention during the audit. We're reporting to you a significant deficiency in the second letter. It's the city expended $2,101, $8,274, and $30,113 more than the appropriated annual budget ordinance in 3 departments. Now, that's not a lot of money, and I know I've talked to Megan and the other members of the management, and they've already addressed this matter, and the procedures have been put in place to prevent future occurrences. And there were no prior year audit findings to be corrected. 2025 was an extremely busy year for the city. There were many water and sewer capital projects that are still in progress in progress at the end of the year. Just to name some of them, very well, the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, which hopefully will be completed maybe by the calendar year this year. And then winding down is the Boyd Creek Pump Station and the Old Fields Outfall. And just getting started is the 10-inch water line replacement. But I thank the council for allowing us to continue as the audit firm for the city. And I thank Megan and Aaron and all the finance staff for their cooperation during the audit. Does anyone have any questions?
Council?
We'll be providing the council with the audit report, the actual financial statement, once we get the approval from the local government commission.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your work in this.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, moving right along, our City of Graham Appearance Commission is going to give a report. We've got boards and commissions for the City of Graham, and they annually come and give us a little update of what they're working on. So can you introduce yourselves and share a little bit?
My name is Zipporah Clark Baldwin. I'm the chairperson of the Appearance Commission Tree Board, and I have with me tonight the Vice Chair, Cheryl Ray.
All right, good evening. This is our first time giving a presentation, a little intimidating, but we'll do our best. Mayor and members of council, thanks for the opportunity to give you all an update from the Appearance Commission and Tree Board. We're a board of 5 individuals, 2 of us here this evening, and are appointed by you all as an advisory board to the council. The mission is to promote, plan, encourage beautification efforts throughout the city of Graham, engaging both residents and businesses and enhancing overall appearance of our community. So with this, the commission leads several initiatives aiming at recognizing and supporting beautification efforts throughout the city of Graham, downtown mainly, but throughout our jurisdiction. We honor residents and businesses owners through our residential and business beautification grants, awards that we put on, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. Making sure they're making meaningful effort and beautification to their building, to their properties to enhance our appearance. We also administer the business grant program, which is a matching funds to local businesses. You guys appropriate those dollars annually in the budget, and we are the entity that gets to administer those dollars to those that apply for that for exterior improvements that contribute to the visual appeal of our city. So highlights from the past year. Over the past year, we roughly spent about $15,000, right under, which is what was approved in the budget to do those business improvement grants or beautification grants throughout the city. These are considered matching funds. So the individual business owner does have to match dollar for what we are awarding them. And the maximum per project is $5,000. So we were able to do several upgrades this year. You can think back to the hotel, the mural on one of the buildings downtown that says hotel. Those were dollars spent to make that mural more sustained. Think of facade enhancements, maybe window improvements, awning improvements, those kind of things are where the dollars go, or just overall appearance of the front entrance of a building. Additionally, holiday business window decoration contest. I don't know if it has a better name than that. Maybe.
Maybe.
So every year we do coordinate. Sometimes we'll work with other partners. So think back to Alamance Arts and the Peanut exhibit. We worked with downtown to kind of carry that image and brand through. So this past year we worked with businesses through the internal PR department here with the city of Graham to basically recognize them to get into the spirit for the holiday season for small businesses. So Witt's Custard was our first place winner. Things Above was our second place, and Skids 2 was the third place. So those are some things that we are working on. Additionally, back to those residential awards. So we have had a little bit of change, but ultimately this has been a program the city has done for many years. I'm looking at Bonnie because she used to be on our board, so shout out to her. With that, where basically anyone could nominate a resident house that they love, they thought it looked attractive, or the owner could nominate for us to vote and basically recognize them. We are going to be shifting that. So our citizens will be getting information in the coming, I think May 1st is when we're launching it, that it's going to be a self-nomination. So clearly, if you have your property wants to be recognized, you take extra work in consideration to what you're planting and how you're keeping it beautiful, we certainly invite you to submit your photos to the social media page. There'll be a jot form, more information to come on the social media page for Facebook, et cetera, Instagram, and Nextdoor. So those are some things that we work on. A sign can go in the yard. It's a great recognition just to show pride. We have partnered with city staff, so we work really closely with our Parks and Rec department, as well as our Public Works department, to work on several events that you'll hear about with Arbor Day, but also downtown beautification. So the planters downtown, our city does a wonderful job at keeping those planted and thriving and beautiful in color for our downtown during the summer months. So last year we worked with them a little bit more on adding a little bit more burst of color, a little bit more full, and they certainly accommodated, and it looked beautiful throughout the season. One of the next pieces that we do, you heard about earlier, was Arbor Day. So we are the entity through the tree board relationship. This year is the number 45. That City of Graham has been a tree board conservationist recognition. So last year in April, we typically choose Arbor Day to do the celebration on. As a Tree City USA community, that's one of the entities or one of the events we must do. So last year we did partner with the city and the Parks and Rec Department to plant a tree at the Graham Rec Center in honor of a former city employee. It was a big event. We had a choir, we had tree saplings to give out, coffee, other things. So it's a great event. You'll hear more about that event for this year in a little bit. But that is another project that this board works on. Some of the upcoming goals that we have, and these can always change. We look for influence from you all, what you want to see happen in our city. But some of these are going to be certainly organizing a citywide litter cleanup in the fall. We couldn't make the spring one work because we have Arbor Day that we're planning, but the state does do it twice a year, so we're looking at fall. Initiating partnerships with the New Leaf Society. Those are early stages, but just how we can partner with them potentially to beautify our city a little bit more. Exploring opportunities to become a Bee City USA. So native plants and planting native species is part of what this commission should be working towards and sustaining in our area. So Bee City USA is right up the line with that. Improving and streamlining that residential appearance award nomination process, which the city staff is working great on. And then certainly reviving a little bit more robust with the business appearance award. So those are some short-term goals. Long-term goals are going to be implementing maybe potentially wayfinding signs, which is a long-term goal, but we're starting to work through that. Expanding city branding through flags on just for a city appearance and brand image. And then also some lots of feedback on installing planters throughout the city that may be hanging and stuff to give it a little bit more pop of color and more appearance. But with that said, that marks our update, and I'll turn it over to ZW for the introduction.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. You did a great job in describing and letting this board see what we do. It actually came to life to me. As I sit on the board, we take challenges throughout the city, and we want the city and the community to know that they are always welcome to be involved. Please come out to our meetings. We meet the first Monday of every month at 6 p.m. right here in this same place. With having said that, we would like to also add to the upcoming events. We'd like to extend an invitation at this time to the City Council and the community members to join us in the upcoming Arbor Day celebration, which will be held the last Friday of the month, which is April 24th, 2026. And we will be meeting promptly at 10 a.m. and until about 11. That is located at 1010 Town Branch Road. Anyone needing any special information, you can go online on our website and we will have it posted there. But we look to see all of you there. Arbor Day is a very important part of our board celebration, and we join forces with the Graham Recreation Department. So we have multiple people on all different facets of the city that we work towards getting this goal of keeping trees very vibrant in Graham. Trees play a very important part of our environment, and we hope to see you there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys so much. Council, did you guys have any questions or comments for the Appearance Commission?
No, just thank y'all for what you do. I know it's hard work. Sometimes it's thankless work. And you guys are volunteers, and thank you for all the time that you donate to this, because we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Patricia a question. Would it be possible when you do the individual homes, maybe you could separate the city and have like one in this area, one in this area, and one in this area?
Yeah.
Something like that. Have a battle of the neighborhoods.
So that's certainly an idea. So we'll work with city staff, and yeah, it's a great recommendation. Those are the kind of recommendations we love to hear. So
You guys are much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
All right, moving on to our consent agenda. We do have A through Q, so hang in there with me for a minute. With the consent agenda includes approving meeting minutes from the March meeting, closing the 100 block of East Elm Street for a Christian concert on April 25th, approve the water service contract with the town of Green Level, approve an agreement supporting Alamance County installing a water line through Swepsonville, transfer excess asphalt millings to the county landfill, apply for funding to make additional reliability improvements to the Graham-Mebane water treatment plant, convert 3.88 acres at Graham Regional Park into a future fire station site, and buy 10.2 replacement acres on North Jim Minor Road to offset the lost recreation land. Honor retiring Sergeant Crystal Sharp O'Neill with a badge and service sidearm for 25 years in the force. Purchase a new sanitation truck to replace a 2007 model. Ordering it by July 1 saves us money ahead of upcoming emissions regulation changes. Add $60,000 to the garage department budget to cover cost for 2 winter storms, a retirement, higher fuel prices, and unexpected repairs. Add $38,000 to the sanitation department budget for higher fuel costs, unexpected repairs, and increased chart cost. Add $15,279 to purchase buoys for the Graham-Mebane Lake. Add $82,530 for professional and contracted services in the non-departmental budget. That's engineering reviews and GIS cost. Add $10,000 for professional services related to the updating the land development plan. Add $3,801 total, $2,460 of those of a sponsor banner for Parks and Rec facilities, and $1,341 for marketing materials and photo archival supplies for the Historical Museum. Add $36,612 from surplus vehicle auction proceeds to the Police Department's equipment budget, and add $410,893 in FEMA reimbursement funds to the utility funds related in Tropical Storm Chantal. Do you have any?
That was
I-
a lot.
Okay, I will say, first of all, I have one edit to A. The minutes reflected that Pastor Josh from Trailhead had the invocation, and we had Jane Albright give the invocation. So that's the only edit to the consent agenda item that I had. Do you guys have any items you want to pull out or any edits?
I just had one question on item L, with the buoys, the $15,279 for the purchase of buoys for the Graham-Mebane Lake. I think I had asked, Aaron, I'd asked you earlier, is that being split between us and Mebane, or are we putting that whole bill, and is it 30,000 and they're paying half and we're paying half, or is it 15,000 and we're paying all of it?
If you'd like, I can jump in and answer this for you. 15 is the total price. Usually at the end of the year, there's a settlement, settle up of sorts between us and Mebane, because you have the budgeted amounts and then you end up with the actual at the end of the year. So it wasn't included in the proposal, the budget estimates we gave them leading into this fiscal year, but we do a look back at the conclusion of the fiscal year to make sure that the numbers we anticipated we were going to spend were spent, and if there were any overages, they're addressed.
Okay.
But the 15 is the total.
Any other items?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if staff could explain what those expenditures are.
So I could jump on this one here. So that covers our engineering review fees, which is split between the general fund and water and sewer fund. The portion, the $34,430 is for the portion on the general fund side. Those funds are really difficult to predict on how much we'll end up spending throughout the year, because depending on the level of plan review that we have throughout the year, it could be high, it could be low. We've had a lot of activity, which required a lot of review. So that amount, based on what we've been paying monthly, is what we anticipate to be able to cover to the end of the year. The other amount is for the contracted services, which goes towards our GIS services with the city of Burlington. I think that cost was based on a contract amount that wasn't reflecting what the new, because we went to a new contract, so it does show in this what that amount's going to be. We were using an older number, but this would cover us to the end of the year as well.
Thank you, Aaron.
Any other comments? Can I entertain a motion
Madam Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the agenda as written.
with the one comment for the
For the
the
correction.
minutes? Yep. Do
Yes, ma'am.
I have a second?
Second.
In favor? Aye. All opposed? Passed unanimously. All right. Skipping right ahead. Old business, ACTA funding. Megan, can I recognize you for this?
Absolutely. As you recall, at last month's meeting, Peter Murphy came before City Council and did a presentation. And as a part of that presentation, he requested City Council consider $6,500 in funding from the City of Graham. That is brought back before you tonight. I will ask that City Council consider other funding requests from outside organizations, some similar to ACTA, some maybe not so much, but Link Transit has also made a budget request of the City of Graham in the amount of $22,000. And the United Way has requested budget funds anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. So because they are similarly situated to ACTA, I did want to bring those budget requests to your attention. It is not something that the city has funded in the past, but we will obviously fund anything lawful that City Council directs us to do.
Can you speak more on the United Way? I know we received a letter from Link, but I haven't received anything from United. While you're looking that up, we'll start discussion if that's okay, Megan.
Sure.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, before we get started, let me state that I sat as a member of the MPO on the ACTA group and probably should step aside for this discussion.
Okay. Do you have anything to gain through this vote?
Okay,
You,
I mean, it's up to you guys.
do y'all think,
I-
I don't think
I
you
don't
need,
think he needs to.
I don't think you need to step
don't-
down.
I don't have an issue
All right,
with you
thank
being
you.
on it, Ricky.
Yeah. Thank you for that, but we would love your support or your insight. You probably know more about this and have more insights. From meeting with Peter and hearing his presentation last time and seeing the impacts of our local residents and our local economy, with the 7,500 trips last year, 950 riders, I would like to propose that we do fund ACTA. I think it's imperative for our community to be able to rely on some kind of transportation. And knowing that this 6,500, while it's not going to be a significant amount of money, it's going to go into leverage, is what he said last time, to leverage state and federal grants. Is that right, Peter? Okay. So that's my position. Y'all have comments or thoughts?
I also feel that it's it's a great organization, and I think it's something we should consider doing. I know we haven't done it in the past, and the other two notwithstanding, it doesn't really commit us to anything else. It's not, I know $6,500 is a lot, but for what they're going to use it for, and from your presentation you gave us last month, I thought it was really excellent. And I think that the citizens of Graham would really benefit from it.
Yes, money well spent.
Yes.
I agree, money well spent.
If there's no other questions or comments, I could entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the active funding request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Peter. All right. We're moving on to number 2 in old business, new downtown park
Oh, you
update.
did the,
Did
Oh,
you?
I'm sorry. Yes, I would love to. I'm sorry, Megan.
Yeah, it's called the VITA Tax Time Program, and that stands for the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program funded by the United Way in the amount of $12,000.
Have you forwarded that out to us?
I have not.
Can you send it to us and maybe we'll discuss it next month? Okay. Is there a timeline on that request?
Just budget
Okay,
fiscal year.
okay. Yeah, if you could send it to us, especially ahead of the May 20th meeting.
and also the link proposal.
Sure.
Thank you.
The link when was sent out, the letter was, last week. They're requesting 22,000. Okay.
What was that number again?
22,000, but
22.
the letter was a lot more vague than anything that we've learned from ACTA. There was no numbers or impact associated with it. And they really want the 22,000 to serve as a pilot project. They want us to give the money and then they want to like do a new program. And so we don't know what the impact would be to our community. But we can discuss that at a later time.
Certainly.
We're going on to new downtown park update. Aaron, can I recognize you for this?
All right, thank you, Mayor. Just a quick update. Today, the bids were due for the design build services for the proposed new park, off of West Elm Street. They were due today at 2 p.m. We did receive 2 bids. Because that did not meet the 3 bid threshold, we were unable to open those bids. We did, send a request to have the ad for re-advertisement to the paper for the upcoming Thursday run. So we will have another bid opening next week, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Whether we have 1, 2, 3, 100, we are able to open up whatever bids we receive on that particular day. So just wanted to update council, not knowing whether we would have any person in particular. We did want you to know that the bid opening was today and we were required to re-advertise and move it till next Thursday.
Okay.
Does this put us in a bind with the grant
Well, I mean,
timing wise?
timing wise for staff in particular, we want to have that money spent. So it doesn't hurt us anymore to wait until next week, because we did have to have the soil testing done at the West Elm location, and we wouldn't authorize anyone to move forward, or we wouldn't ask that council authorize anyone to move forward until we had that report in hand, which we should receive the end of this week, beginning of next week. So the timeline sort of works out for that anyway.
Okay.
So I don't think it's going to create any worse of a situation timeline wise for us moving forward with this.
Just have any, heard anything about the extension?
So I did hear back from the folks with the appropriations with the state that they will be back in session, I want to say next week. So they said that hopefully they'll have an answer for us when they're back in session. So I definitely would check back next week just to see if there, was any movement on that. But they did say they would reach back out to us to let us know whether we were able to receive an extension or not.
Okay. Thanks, Aaron.
What I received from Amy Gailey's office was that they weren't issuing extensions without a new budget in place. Is that still correct? They're going to reach out to us if they pass a budget?
So I spoke with, I want to say her name was Carly. Yeah. So that's the one that I spoke with, and she was, with appropriations. So I mean, that's who Amy had recommended that we speak with to sort of get an understanding on where we were with all of it. So I'm just going off of what Carly says.
Sure. Okay. I do want to state that we don't know what's in those bids. It could be $200,000, it could be $1 million. And we're kind of gambling with this grant money by pushing it out. I would like to see us go ahead and reallocate this grant money to do an easy but needed project downtown. Aaron has suggested a paving project with Burke, just so that we don't lose the money, that we are able to utilize the money well. It's spent on a project that needs to be completed anyway. And then we're not up against a clock and potentially losing this grant funds. Losing the grant funds does a couple of things. It doesn't, well, we lose the grant funds, but also then we don't look good to the state to receive more grant funds. Is that correct, Aaron?
Yeah, that's correct, but I would say waiting and opening and then deciding if Plan B to go forward with another project with something like a repaving that, because Burke has to make sure that we can actually get on a paving schedule to be able to do it. So there's that part of it as well. It wouldn't make it any worse for us to wait until Thursday, but I would say at that point, depending on what's in the envelopes, a decision, if we're going to pivot, we are definitely up against it at that point to go one way or another. If council chooses to pivot at that point, that would probably be the very last moment that we could. But today versus next Thursday doesn't make that big of a difference when it comes to that particular situation.
But we won't be able to meet next Thursday. That'll be pushed back because you have to vet the bids.
Correct, but the conversations that could be had in between time, we kind of can do some preliminary conversations in between time
Okay.
with the contractors.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Well, we will potentially be planning, do we need to plan this special meeting now?
I wouldn't quite yet.
Okay.
Let us make sure that we get some bids in first, but
Okay.
either way, you'll be hearing from me next week. So,
Okay. So to the community, TBD on a special meeting in the next,
either way, we're gonna have to have a special meeting.
okay, TBD on a special meeting. All right. Are we okay to move on to public hearings?
Yep.
Okay. Aaron, can you kick us off with the ADU?
All right, thank you, Mayor. So a couple months ago, a resident had approached the city council about a potential amendment to our ordinance that would allow for accessory dwelling units. Currently, our ordinance does not speak to allowing those, so they're not allowed. Staff did draft language addressing the accessory dwelling units and adding into our ordinance. Planning board recommended approval of the amendment with revisions of dropping the maximum square footage for the attached and detached ADUs from 1,600 to 1,200 square feet. Require a minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet for the ADU, and to allow ADUs to be served off of existing private connections to the primary dwelling if capacity allows it. I did speak with our utilities department. There is a preference that there is one connection, so it does match up with what the planning board recommended. Staff would say that if council chooses to move forward with approval of the amendment for the ADUs, that if you do want them to have that one connection, that we have a fee schedule change to charge a fee for their refuse, for their garbage and recycling, because if you have basically two living quarters and one garbage can and one recycling bin, we're going to have issues going forward. So I would say that there would need to be some amendment at some point to our fee schedule to address that, so that we can look into into accounting for that. Otherwise, we are going to have future issues with that.
Thank you. Any questions from Aaron? Are we ready to open public hearing? We're not, okay. Okay. Does anybody want to speak on the ADU new ordinance potential? Okay. All right.
That's amazing.
All right. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Council, what are we thinking?
I have some real reservations about this. We discussed this once before, a couple years ago, and decided that ADUs would be best done on, special requests to come before council. There are ways that they could do these types of things without it being just permitted to basically pop one in a neighborhood somewhere. There were a lot of concerns about how that would affect other homes in the area, I personally am still against this. I don't think we should add this to our ordinance. I do understand there was a citizen that brought it forth. I would be okay with, if we were to vote on it now, I'm going to say no. I would be okay with, tabling it to next month. I understand he couldn't be here tonight. So I would be fine with tabling it to next month till he could be here, if you guys want to do that. But right now, my vote would be no.
Bobby?
Well, the legislature is looking at the ADUs. And I would be hesitant to approve one locally and then whatever the state comes, passes might be counter to what we propose. So if they're looking into it, I think we should pause.
Thank you.
Didn't
Bobby.
Elon allow this and then they turned around and realized they made a huge mistake because
Yes.
someone actually put some up and it was like this big horrendous looking beast comprised of these little dwelling units. I think they're great for what they are, but I'm inclined to agree with Bonnie and Bobby about waiting on to see what the state says. Because I think they do have a purpose, but I don't know if maybe if anyone had looked at the public notice that we were going to be talking about this, I think more of them would have showed up. When I was on the planning and zoning board and you had these developers wanting to put, as much as they could on one little spot on a neighborhood that's been there for 50, 60 years, and the residents came out and they didn't want that. I think with these dwelling units, we would run into that same issue where you got one little spot available in an existing neighborhood, and they plop 3 or 4 of these dwelling units right there. And I mean, I think they're awesome. I really do. I mean, I know Roll Construction has put one up down the road here, and I think it's just the coolest thing in the world. But I don't know what the neighbors around there think. I hate that nobody showed up because it would be really nice to hear from the residents. But I am apt to just table it until we see what the state does.
I'll say my piece. I'm very opposed to this. I have been since it's been brought up to council. I think it's going to be it's going to tear up a lot of subdivisions. And, we can't let that happen in Graham.
I will say that like Jim, I think that it's a great opportunity, especially for lower socioeconomic. It just gives a more diverse opportunity for housing if done right. I think that with as many people that have voiced it, that we should table it for next month. So I would like to make a motion that we table this for 1 month to see if we get people at a public hearing.
Madam Mayor, I did have a question. I don't know if Aaron, you can answer this. What are the regulations where, like, say, someone has a house and they want to put one of these on their extra part of their property? As far as how is water handled, water billing and stuff like that on those types of units?
So that's where planning board was basically saying that it would be one connection, and then, the responsibility would be on the primary residence as far as the bill. For utilities, it's cleaner only because you don't have multiple cuts at one location.
Mhm.
So essentially, it would just be, you can't promise that the primary structure and ADU are related.
Yeah.
A lot
So
of
you're
people.
talking, they're going to be on 1 meter?
Yes.
Yeah, they'll be on the same lines.
That's what's proposed.
Yeah, what about waste removal? I mean, the garbage and everything, are they all relying on one blue bin or one green bin?
So that's where I was saying that I would ask that if council moves forward with it, that we consider looking at a separate charge, staff position at cost for an extra extra blue bin and garbage bin, only because two residences using one, I mean, one house can fill up a garbage can with no problem.
Yeah.
If you essentially expect two people, two different families to utilize one bin, it's going to fill up pretty quickly.
Okay. What about parking? Do we make any allowances for that?
It's
So
also addressed in
Addition.
the,
Yeah, it is, but you also have to remember that this is a half an acre minimum, or almost a half acre minimum lot. So essentially, you're probably gonna have ample space for parking
Okay.
based on the amendment that was added by planning board to have that 20,000 square foot minimum for a lot.
Yeah, I'm just, I think they're still just the coolest things. I would prefer we table it and learn a little more about it.
And would they have separate addresses, Aaron, or would they be the same since they're on the same water line and whatnot?
that's on the ordinance too. They'd be responsible for contacting to get a separate address.
Yeah, because I would think for 911 purposes, for sure.
Correct.
I do have a motion on the table to table this. All in favor?
May we
Aye.
ask a clarification?
Can you,
Need to reopen the public hearing and continue after you reopen the hearing.
So I don't need to close the public hearing. I need to recess the public hearing. Okay. I make a motion to reopen the public hearing.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Now I'm making a motion to table this until next month.
Second.
Do you mind giving the specific date?
Is it May 12th?
It is.
Think so,
Okay.
yeah.
Table until May 12th, regular city council meeting. Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Bob. Okay. Aaron, you're up a lot tonight. Can I recognize you for the future land use plan, please?
So this is gonna be very easy. Staff recommending that we table this item to the May 12th meeting as well. We did reach out to the Council of Governments to see if we could have a representative that helped work on the plan to be present to help with the presentation to council. And if council will allow, we would like to table this until next month.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion, we table to next month.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, table till next month. All right. Sorry? Okay. Aaron, can you talk a little bit about Wilton Drive, please?
Thank you again. So this is to approve a resolution to permanently close the unopened section of Wilton Drive. KC Reynolds LLC is requesting that the roadway abutting their land on the east and west right-of-way of Wilton Drive to be closed. That section is where the pavement ends, and basically you have the unopened right-of-way space that goes from there to the next property. They're looking to have that part closed so that it could revert to the adjoining property owners.
Okay. What's the square footage of that? Oh, that's right there.
There we go.
Okay. All right. At this time, council, are y'all okay if I open up?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. At this time, I would love to open to public hearing. So whoever wants to come and speak at this, please, your name and your address. We would love to hear from you. You get 3 minutes each. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for being here.
Not a problem. You might not like me being here in a little bit.
Name and address, please.
Kathy Ward, and I'm at 214 Aloha Drive in Graham. It's the corner lot from Aloha and Wilton. My driveway goes out on Wilton. We as a neighborhood are not quite understanding what you're talking about by permanently closing this road. Because we use this, there's 4 houses that are on this road already. Are we talking about a cul-de-sac down in the field? Is that what we're thinking about doing?
Can I clarify real quick? Or Aaron, can you clarify real quick?
So it's basically a section that's not on the ground now. It's basically on a paper right-of-way section that they're looking to close so that it'd be easy if I could show you. Give me 1 second.
They can't go through Chandler Village.
It's-
There's no roadway through there.
They're
So-
not. They're not trying to. They're trying to close that unopened section out so it doesn't extend any further than the asphalt stops now.
It's a piece of grassy land.
So you're gonna put 5 houses down there in the field with no extension of the road for anybody to get out of the field? Because my understanding was they were gonna build 5 houses down there in that little tiny field. How is traffic getting out of there?
Hold on 1 second.
Wilton is a small road and we park on the side. And I intend to continue parking on the side because I've been parking on the side of this road for 55 years. I'm old. It's hard to make me change. Exactly. I have 1 little driveway and 3 cars. I don't have room to do anything else.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right, so it's easy for me to show you. So these 2 parcels here are owned by KC Reynolds.
Right.
This section here that's in between, right here of Wilton Drive,
Mm-hmm.
this is the area they're closing. You can see where the center line stops
What do
here.
you mean by closing? That's what we're not understanding. You're talking about the pavement stops at the end of the road and they're not gonna put any more road down there?
Correct.
It's not going to be public
It's not going
road.
to extend any further than it is already. So this area right here that's not paved,
Which it is now. How do those 5 houses get out of that field if they're built down there? If you don't have a roadway through the rest of the field?
so Chris is here. Chris is
I was gonna say, is council okay if I pause your 3 minutes for us to get a little bit of clarification? We're gonna invite you guys up for some clarification, and then I'll come back to you. I don't want to take away your 3 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, council.
Name and address.
Kristen Faust, I represent Casey Reynolds. I live on South Highway 62, Burlington. We figured it'd be some confusion with this. So what everyone has seen, we proposed for this neighborhood is the continuation of Wilton at where the asphalt ends, we're gonna put a turnaround. What we're talking about here is just, a process we have to go through with the council because it is right now currently a dedicated city right-of-way. It's a grassy saying, and it's old. I'm not sure how old it's been there, Aaron.
Forever.
Forever. So it can't go anywhere, obviously, because it can't go through Chandler Village. So we're asking for this to be removed. It's just the back portion of it. When we complete our T turnaround as we have proposed to the city and we have TRC approval, it'll be a continuation of the city street. So there will be a part of a right of way around that front area. So that's how the houses will connect to the city street to get out.
So when you finish the T, are you handing those streets back to the city?
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we're giving over, I'm saying it, trying to clear the air. We're giving over the land for you to do construction and put a T turnaround on there. And then you're giving it back to us. So that T turnaround will be able to
Correct.
be used for all the Wilton Drive
Correct.
residents. Does
Correct.
that make sense to everybody? Did I say that clear enough?
Mm.
Okay, thank
I mean,
you.
to my knowledge, we were just made aware of this by the city. It's just a process because it's a right of way, undeveloped. It's serving no purpose right now.
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much, Kristen. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. This public hearing is just for the Wilton Drive
Yeah.
closure, and I would love to stay to this. We can try to get those drawings at a later date. Does anybody else, or do you have further questions that you'd like to pose, or do others want to come up?
Anita Hunter, and I live at 216 Wilton Drive. And I might be dumb, and I probably sound dumb, but I still don't understand okay. The Wilton Drive right now is a short little road,
Mhm.
and it dead ends right there. Are we talking about the right of way, the turnabout coming from Wilton Drive? Or are we talking about that Wilton Drive right there being completely closed?
No, the current asphalt is gonna stay Wilton Drive. There's a little bit of grass area that the city's gonna give to them. They're gonna put a turnaround in there, and then they're gonna give it back to the city. So Wilton Drive is gaining a turnaround instead of just a dead end. It doesn't make sense, or you don't like it?
We don't like it. We
Okay.
went through this last year, and that little short road is tiny. I can't imagine it being going, the houses going through this short little road. Jim Young was down there last year. He came and looked at it for us when we had this meeting last year concerning dwellings down there. And he understood, Jim, did you understand, what we're talking about?
It's a narrow, small road.
And Kathy, I mean, she doesn't have a choice but park on the road because her driveway's on Wilton. It's a short little driveway, always has been, no other way to do it. And she has to park on the road. And there's just really no traffic
Mhm.
to be able to go back and forth there on that little short road.
Yeah, so I think this area view is probably a better look of exactly what it looks like on the ground currently. Asphalt stops about right here. And we're talking about them taking this space here to extend Wilton and add that T turnaround to the backside of this to be able to service these two lots that are on both sides of that. So essentially that's what they're doing.
And the development has already been approved.
So the zoning for what they're trying to do is allowing them to do what they're wanting to do here is
Mhm.
the issue of the extension of this right of way, which they would be putting in, not the city,
Right.
to serve these two properties.
Well, at the risk of me also sounding stupid, so if they're gonna build houses down here at the end, I presume that's what y'all are doing, right? How is a T turnaround? I mean, if you're gonna have multiple houses down there, how's that gonna work exactly? How is that all gonna hook up? I mean, how is that? I'm having trouble visualizing it as well, and I actually drove down there, and I'm still having trouble visualizing how that is gonna all work. If there's like 4 or 5 houses down there, are all their driveways gonna connect to that T turnaround? I mean, how do they get to the T turnaround? I mean, is that a stupid question? I mean, so all the driveways will connect to that one T turnaround? Is that what you're saying? Because I'm just trying to
Hold on,
wrap
Bonnie,
my mind around it.
if you have more questions, let's get them up to the mic so that people online. Do you have more questions for him?
Well, those were my questions.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to understand and wrap my mind around exactly what it is.
Madam
Thank
Mayor.
you, Miss Anita.
Madam
So
Mayor.
you know what the problem is all the traffic coming down that little road.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Madam Mayor, I think y'all are missing the bigger picture here. What we are doing is abandoning that right of way.
Mhm.
Once we abandon that right of way, it goes to the property owners. That's all they're asking for. They're not asking for anything else but for us to abandon the right of way.
That's correct. I think the community is worried about what's going to happen with it, and that's why we're exploring that.
That's not part of the case.
That's not what's on paper. That's what the community's worried about. So
Um,
that's what's hearing them out. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on this? Name and address, please, sir.
Chris Faust, 4990 Highway 62 South. Yeah, we are doing the turnaround. Those other two lots will have frontage. We're giving a new water line. Water line is old cast water line. We're putting a fire hydrant up at the corner because there's no hydrant near there. We're giving all these upgrades to get these 5 lots. The turnaround will be built to gram specs. The road that they're saying there is 2 gram specs. I measured it, back to back curve. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. All right. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this? Come on up. We'd love to hear from you.
I'll
Oh,
get my 3 minutes, sorry.
yes, ma'am.
Just so we are clear, that road is the only way that these 4 houses get in and out. Now, my yard has been tattooed and so has the road. I'm assuming they're gonna have to tear this road up, put the water and sewage lines down through there because there's no water and sewage lines in that field. We plowed that field up for a garden for years and years and years. So what happens when they tear that road up to put water and sewage down through there? What do the 4 houses do that are on that road?
Ms. Kathy, can I get your contact information and we can chat a little bit more on this timeline after I talk to the Faust?
Sure.
Okay, that would be awesome. I'll get it off record so that the whole city doesn't have to.
I don't care. I don't
Okay.
answer the phone during the day.
Oh, okay. I'm ready, Miss Kathy. What's your number?
10,000 children.
You
They
do?
don't like it when I'm on the phone. 336.
Okay,
266.
266.
9798.
All right.
It's a public number. I don't care who calls me. I may not answer if you call at the wrong time.
Well, let me get some answers for you. I'll give you a call. We'll chat.
We have already been through this once.
I remember I was
We
here.
stopped
Yep.
the first nonsense they wanted to do down there. Now, the houses, I understand somebody's gonna build on that land. I just need to know how we're getting these cars in and out of this road. Because it is only one lane through there when you park on the side of the road. And we park on the side of the road. And I don't have anywhere else to go. Unless you want me to park across Aloha and block it. I have no problem doing that. I need a police car down there to make people slow down.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Sir, would you like to speak? Name and address, please, sir.
Jim Lotzler, 215 Wilton Drive in Graham. I have the same problem she has with people parking. If people park on this side of the road and people park on this side of the road, you cannot get through there at all. And if people are going to be walking up and down this street, they're going to be walking through people's yards. They're not going to be able to walk down the street because of the traffic. And that's my biggest concern, is going to be us having access to get into our driveways and getting out. When they park on the side of the road, I park on the side of the road. And if they park on this side and I park on this side, you're not going to get a car in between us. The road just isn't wide enough for that. So that's my biggest concern. And I know the one field that they want to put houses on, it floods and you get 4 or 5 inches of water down there when it rains, because everything from the neighborhood drains down right through there and goes out into that field. And it just floods. I don't know. And if they fill that up, then the water's not going to have any place to go except for into my yard. So that's my biggest concern besides the parking.
Thank you, Jim.
you.
I appreciate it. Anybody else want to speak on this during public hearing? All right. I will entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Should we close the public hearing?
Anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, council. What are you thinking? Bonnie, we're starting with you since you're sighing.
No, I think we should start with you.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay. The houses are gonna get built down there. And they need a way to connect. I think that there's a lot of other issues that we need to deal with. And I've written those down. And also, we need a driveway or a way for the cars to drive from these new houses to get on Wilton. And either the city of Graham pays for it or the developer pays for it. And that makes it an easier decision to give them this piece of property to build the turnaround. I think that we can still address a lot of these things, but with these houses being built one way or the other, they need a way to drive their cars from Wilton, and the city of Graham would rather the developer pay for it. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not discounting any of these other issues, and I think that we still have a lot to work through. But with this one, like Ricky was saying, this one puzzle piece, I think that moving to allow Wilton to be permanently close that access is what I would recommend.
I mean, I think the key point is, whether, I know the residents don't want those houses down there. I totally understand, but it is zoned for it and they can build them. And that can't be stopped. Either way, it's going to happen. So as the mayor stated, and this is, I think, the important point is somebody's going to pay for that turnaround. It's either going to be the city or they're offering to do it themselves if we will, yield them the land to do it on. So this is one of those, I know it's not a win for you guys, and I'm sorry. But in terms of cost, like the mayor said, when a developer is saying, hey, we'll pay for this, we'll do it. I don't think we have much of a choice.
Bobby, do you have anything? Ricky? Jim?
I won by like 14 votes, and I'm willing to bet that all 14 of them came from that neighborhood.
So those are my people and I'm sticking with them. I mean, hey, Aaron, can you zoom into where Chandler Place is at? Not that, there you go. So there's, can I ask somebody a question?
Yes.
Mr. Faust, have you explored any way going through Chandler Place to get to that property?
The difference in elevation.
Please, just for the mic's sake and for those tuning into YouTube.
Well, when we come to this, we had more people against us in Chandler Village, and I'd done that years ago that nobody wanted back then. And we had 12 or 15 people from Chandler Village that spoke against this because they say it was too dense. I mean, they're living in multifamily. So no, I'm not going to ask them at the HOA of Chandler Village for a way through there when I gave them the right of way years ago.
Yeah, I got
We
you.
should have went ahead and closed it then, maybe, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be done. We gotta take care of the water. We've done the study.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
just-
I'm
we're
not,
gonna
I'm
make
not
it
knocking you. I think you're doing everything you can.
So-
But at the same time, I still feel for these people because I have gone down there and, if there's two cars on that road, you're
Well,
not,
it's a city street, back to back. We can go down there tomorrow and pull a tape. It's the
Yeah.
same size as the other
But
streets in there.
when was it built? When was that street put in?
They just repaved it.
I mean, when it, that.
It don't matter whether it was
neighborhood's-
built, it's built, the width of that street is the same thing as the next street,
Yeah,
across
what-
street.
What I'm concerned about is you're not gonna be putting the same kind of structure on those two spots. You're gonna be putting more structures on those spots. Am I right?
I didn't change the zoning at all.
Jim, I will say that this isn't like that,
yeah,
that
this-
zoning's already
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to close this right away to give the
Yeah.
city, I mean, the garbage truck, the fire truck, everything has to back down there if there's a call now. I mean, I think the garbage truck backs down that road. There's no turnaround. We're giving them a turnaround.
Yeah.
So
I got
Okay.
you.
I'm just
I
trying to help
appreciate
the
you.
city.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay.
Thank you.
Did you have a motion or something? You leaned up, Ricky.
Make a motion, we approve this, road closure.
Okay. Do I have a second? I'm sorry, we've already closed public hearing. Thank you, though. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
So 3-2, it passes.
Symbolic, but
Sorry?
it's symbolic, but
Oh,
I
okay.
feel for them too, so, you
Okay.
know.
Just say that we're not a neighborhood that feels safe and supported anymore, like you put in your letter.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Okay. Megan, did you have a question?
I'm sorry, who was the clarification? Who voted for versus against? I apologize.
Me and Bobby and Ricky voted for.
Okay, thank
Jim
you.
and Bonnie voted
Thank you.
against. Okay. New business, street closure, 9/11, Aaron.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So the 9/11 5K event was previously approved by City Council. Since then, the organizers have changed the route. Typically, whenever an event has been approved in the past, we usually have it on the consent agenda, but if it's a new event or there's a change to the event in any way, we do put it back on the new business side so that council can consider that new request. The request doesn't necessarily ask for council approval to close any streets because West Interstate Service Road and Maple are both NCDOT streets. What it's asking for is that council approves support of the event so that that could be part of the application to NCDOT for the organizer to get approval from them.
Great. Thank you. Any questions from council?
So is it gonna start at the police station like it usually does, and go all the way down Maple, and then go down
Yeah.
Interstate Service Road?
Yes. I think it's
How far
There we go.
Interstate Service Road?
It's pretty far.
right here to my little man running right here.
Yeah.
Is it going up to the, sock company?
It goes,
I think
it goes a good way down. I mean, I know we don't have the structure, but I think it's like a little bend right here. So it goes down a little bit. I don't know what this route distance is.
I mean, I know the city line and you run into
Not a
Burlington.
half hour, okay.
When you run into Burlington up there, I was just wondering.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, NCDOT would be the ones to have to sort of get the thumbs up on this route. Hearing what Brian was saying, you're probably looking at about a mile and a half out and back. So that gives you your 3-ish miles for the 5K.
So it's not just like a one-way.
I think it's
They're gonna go down and turn around and come back.
yeah, I think they go down here, do a U-turn and bring it back home.
Thanks, Aaron.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this road closure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. Okay. Boards and commissions ordinance update. Aaron, you needed a spotlight.
Okay, so council had asked that staff look into the board and commissions ordinance that was approved back in 2019 by a task force that was commissioned by city council then to establish rules and procedures for our city's volunteer boards and commissions. What you have before you are some changes that, based on conversation that we heard with council, that we want to be able to reflect the additions of members needing to have their ethics guidelines signed, as well as the background check, which have been put in place by council. It just needs to be reflected in the ordinance here. I did remove the tree board, Graham Historic Museum language, because those are already established in their locations. So we didn't want to have a situation where we had to make changes in 2 different locations. So they're already in their unique locations already. So we just wanted to bring this back to council to show the changes that have happened since 2019. Obviously, if council has any other additions they would want to have done to it, this is the time to do it as well.
Okay, thank you. I'll have a chance to read through.
Yes, ma'am. I had one question about, and this isn't a change, but I'm proposing that maybe we need to change it. Earlier, we presented an award to somebody for being on the board at the rec board for 10 years. And if you look at item C, it says members shall be eligible to serve for not more than 3 consecutive full terms, and then they may be eligible for reappointment following a 12-month hiatus after that, which would have cut his term, Mr. Cook's term, short. And very often, we have trouble getting people to apply for some of these boards. So I wonder if maybe we're, cutting our nose off to spite our face if we say, you can't serve for more than 3 consecutive terms. So that is my only concern with the verbiage. I don't have any issues with the additions for the ethics guides or the background checks or anything like that. And we've been actually doing that already anyway. I don't have any issues with anything else. That was my one concern.
Okay. I will say that y'all got a copy of this email, but it's the boards and commissions applications. And the deadline is more than a month away, and we've got enough applicants to fill the vacancies for all of them except for 2, and 1, we've got 10 applicants for 1 vacancy. And so I don't know if that could speak to an uptick of community members.
That's this time, but the past has been not indicative of that, is what I'm saying. Yes, I saw that, but that's this time. So, but do we really want to cut our nose off to spite our face, is what I'm saying? Because that would have removed Mr. Cook, he wouldn't still be on that board that he just got an award for. So, and I know the museum board has trouble getting people, there's a couple, the rec board, I think, has trouble. They've had the same people for some time, you know? I just don't want it to be where we can't let those people stay on if they're the only people that want to be on it. That's my concern.
Other thoughts?
I agree with Bonnie.
100% agree with Bonnie.
Okay. There was one note that I wanted to bring up, for under 2, the current service, and an individual shall be eligible to serve on not more than 2 city boards. Do we want it to be 2 city boards or just one board at a time?
I served on 2 boards. I thought I did a pretty good
too.
job.
I served on 2 different boards and, you know, I mean, I don't,
You made them only serve on one, we've never filled the boards.
yeah, that might hurt us too if we say you can't serve on but one board at a time. Because we do have multiple people that serve on more than one board, so I don't,
I served on 2 boards when.
yeah.
All right, are there any other comments or edits? No? Anybody want to make a motion? Oh, you get pointed at.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we do pass the boards and commissions rules with this exception. Section 2, item C, members shall be able to serve for not more than 3 consecutive full terms, that we strike that sentence. And
Go
the
ahead.
following sentence about following a 12-month hiatus.
Renee, is that clear enough for you? Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, Aaron and Renee, for your work on that. All right, voting delegate. Megan, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I certainly hate to steal Assistant City Manager
Yeah.
Holland's thunder here, but
Aaron's on
I'm gonna
fire.
take it. Every year, the North Carolina League of Municipalities requests that all cities who are attending, who are members, appoint a voting delegate. This is for their board elections. As you've probably seen, they've sent out requests for a slate of candidates. We have 4 out of the 5 council members who are attending. Councilmember Whitaker is the only one who's not able to attend. So if you could kindly select amongst yourself who you would like to represent Graham as your voting delegate, we will submit that. The deadline was technically yesterday, but they know we're going to be bringing up the rear and submitting who's going to be there for Graham. So
Thank you, Megan. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll propose Jim Young.
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Jim, do us proud. All right. If anybody would like to sign up for public comment, here is your last chance. And then we will begin public comments. Anybody? Oh, wait. No, you're doing good. I like the slow walk. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, Miss Anita Hunter, I believe, left. Jim also left. Ronnie Isley. Thank you for being here, sir. That's all right. Name and address, please.
Ronnie Isley, 510 Mendel Terrace, lifelong resident of Graham and not going anywhere. I would, couple things. And I don't know if I can speak to Aaron or not, but I believe he said he only got 2 bids back for the park so far. And you're requiring 3. Maybe this is a respite. I mean, I wanted to ask the council, maybe it's from on high. Those 3 that voted for a park that hundreds of Graham citizens do not want. And you're not saying anywhere the money to pay for it. And again, it was the green or the blue plan, the way I saw it. And Aaron can answer it. I didn't see the movement of the bricks. I didn't see the movement of the bell, the gazebo, the bell, what else? The clock. And so if you're not moving these things and making a new Susquehanna Park, I can't say that word, you're making a new Elm Street Park that seems like hundreds of Graham residents do not want. My suggestion, give the bricks back. One person's already said you want to sell the land. That's why you're doing this. Give it back. Don't build a new park. Don't go in debt for something that the majority of folks don't want. And You know, that's my thought on that. And maybe, well, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, park. Oh, this is on me. I think last month we asked Aaron to check into the downtown banners that are looking so poorly. With May Arts Around Square coming up, if we can't afford to get any bids in to replace those, if that's what we want to do, my suggestion, can we at least get those down around the court square? It looks so bad, and that would be all of them. If the city can't afford it, loan me a truck at night, my wife will drive it, I'll get in the bucket, and we'll get them down. I mean, that's something pretty simple. I know money seems to be an object around here, but that, and I'm sure there's graphic design places in this county or in other counties that would love to help us out with this and get us back looking like we should. We were in Mebane the other day, and my wife pointed out how good they look, and we know how Burlington's look. So we're in the middle. Why can't Graham, get on the ball with that? And thirdly, I think we asked last month too, I think you asked, Mayor, about the benches. Has anything come back about that? Talking with the shop owners that they were out in front of. And that's it. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Eric Chrisman. Thanks for being here, sir. Name and address, please.
My name is Eric Crispin, 208 Albright Avenue in Graham. I like your public comment shirt. Thank you very much, Jim.
Sir?
I like your public comment shirt. Thank you.
Oh, it is my cardio.
I'm disappointed in the actions of the board. Last meeting, one of the council members challenged the mayor and wanted you to go on record as to your activities. I challenged the senior board members to go on record to say that they are not in collusion with each other. It's already been pretty well established that they're having illegal gatherings according to LMS News. Maybe not illegal, but in the spirit of the law, illegal. You've lost the confidence of the people in Graham with your activities. You really should be ashamed of yourself. The people don't trust what you could do. People don't trust what you are doing. To be so hell-bent for there to get rid of the park. I want somebody's assurance that there's not some quid pro quo involved in this activity. That you were for it, now you're against it. You've always been against it, but the three senior members have you can try to ensure that the citizens of Graham that you're doing what's best for them, but we don't believe you. The citizens of Graham think that you are in collusion with each other, in collusion with the former administration to do something nefarious with the park land, and you have lost confidence in the cities, and I still think you should resign. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Chris?
Chris Faust, 4990 Highway 62. I give half my life to this town and the fire department. We've done a lot of subdivisions and stuff that made Graham look good. I am very disappointed in a couple of the council members tonight. This was supposed to be a rubber stamp. We're trying to do something nice here. And the way we understood it, we were going to it was just a formality. I tried to get something else passed that went through. So this was just a formality. I'm putting a fire hydrant in because we burned a house down years ago because there wasn't no water in there close. I'm giving them a new water line. I'm very disappointed in the two council members that voted against something you're doing something, he just said it. You're supposed to be looking out for the city. This isn't looking out for the city. This is nuts. And I just wanted to let you know how disappointed I am and upset because we have done good. I mean, you go down everywhere in Graham, the people in Chandler Village were happy because we done it. Lacey, I mean, it's just frustrating that you get a couple, and they didn't know what was going on, and that's not their fault. That is not their fault. But we thought this was just going to be a little simple task tonight, and it turned out I've never been disrespected like I did in the last year's meeting as I was trying to get 5 houses done. I mean, we've done hundreds, not thousands of lots. So thank y'all for the 3 that made a little sense tonight.
Thank you, Chris. All right. That is the end of public comment.
You have mine?
I signed.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. Is there another piece of paper I'm missing? Okay, okay, thank you.
There was one other name on the list when I signed.
Oh, we found it. Thank you guys for saying something. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for doing the honors. All right. Keith, you're up first. Thanks for being patient. Y'all were the first on the list.
I was on the first one to sign.
I know.
I thought, well.
All right. Name and address.
604 Trockwater Court in Graham. People come up here, they're a little disappointed. I'm very disappointed because there's a safety issue at Graham High School. And I think the city should get involved. I've asked people to get involved. Nothing's been done. In my opinion, nothing's gonna be done by the city. So I'm gonna take the next step. So I'm just gonna, instead of asking the police department or whoever in the city for help with something, I'll just call the state troopers like I did the last time. I'm tired of the speeding. I'm tired of, they park on both sides of the road when they pick up kids. You're supposed to, so the travel lane now becomes what? The center turn lane. There's no markings on the road. There's no school markings on the road on each end. There's one sign on each end of the road. There's two schools. We got a problem. I think someone should look into this, and I'm tired of the speeding. And if, like I say, if our police department doesn't have enough people to go over there once in a while and say, hey, make a presence. The last time the state troopers did it, they handed out 12 tickets in 1 hour. So don't tell me people are not speeding. It's a safety issue. The parking on both sides of the roads is a safety issue. I have not been able to get nothing out of the school system, which if you can get anything out of them, let me know. I'll be right there with you. Something needs to be done about it. It's a safety issue. You talk about safety. This has been a safety issue over there for years, not having a sidewalk down Elm Street so the kids can walk to school. They're walking on the highway, both sides. That's not the first time I've said this. Now, you want to talk about respecting people? I've been to this meeting for years. I can remember when there was two people that sat in this audience, that man right there and me. So I feel disrespected, and I would just like someone to take a look. If you can't, let me know. Because you know what? We have other options, but I don't think I should have to use those options. We have a Grand Police Department for a reason. I'm not asking you to come over there and set every day. We have an SRO that does that. But if you're not going to enforce the school speed limit, then how is that being safe in our city? We have two schools there. There's not one school like over here at the middle school, and you've got 400 signs, flashing signs. You got nothing over there. It's a safety issue. I wish someone would look at it and address it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Keith. All right, Jeff, last but not least. Name and address, please.
Jeff Bennis, 1407 East Gilbert Street. Before I speak on the subject that I signed up for, make a quick comment on the Wilton Street thing. I don't live on Wilton, but that's just another example of the city council not listening to the citizens who live on Wilton, all right? If one of you guys lived on Wilton, you might have a different opinion, all right? But you basically told those people who have been living there, one lady lives there for 55 years, well, we can't do anything about it. It's already been zoned, right? Well, you voted on the zoning, right? She's been there 55 years. You're going to put 5 houses down there. This is where they live. That's their community, all right? And you're just saying, tough luck. Can't do anything about it. You ought to think about that because the community is watching, like me, him, who else is here? They're watching what you guys are doing, all right? The subject that I signed up for, as a member of the community of Graham community, I'd like a clarification regarding the guidelines for public comments. We already know the time has been cut from 4 to 3 minutes. We already know that it's scheduled at the end of the meeting. But what about once public comment is done and gets reopened again, all right? What happens then, all right? Will it be reopened if anyone just raises their hand? Tonight, a woman back there raised her hand and she was told, hey, it's closed. You can't talk anymore. Pardon? And last meeting though, when the former mayor raised her hand, all right, Mr. Chin right away, yeah, sure, go ahead and talk, right? What's the deal? Well, then the city council says, hey, if she can talk, everyone else can talk. So what are the guidelines now? There's public comments, is it closed? Or can it be reopened depending on who you are, all right? I'm not the former mayor. Will you recognize me if I have a comment? All right? So my question is, what are the guidelines? What's the rules? And what happens the next time the former mayor comes in here and raises her hand? We gonna recognize her? All right, that's my question, and I'd like an answer tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay. Move on to city staff. No? No, nothing, just no. Okay. Bob, Brian, y'all got anything? Your mic, please, sir.
You can just grab that one over there if you want.
At the public comment period, it is in the rules, I believe adopted at the last meeting are, you know, contained in that, in the rules that you adopted. And I think, you know, providing, you know, Mr. Bennett a copy of that, you know, he asked a question and I think it'd be a matter of, you know, staff giving him a copy of it so he'll know.
I think he was also asking a little bit of what council will allow outside of that. But yes, we can absolutely
Well,
give you a copy of that.
Well, he very well could have, but you know, the basic rules were really contained and I think that would be the starting point. Yeah. And with respect, you know, to, you know, closing the public comment, that's entirely up to this body. In other words, if you wanted to recognize somebody, I feel like that you have that discretion. And if there's any question about it, then you could vote on it and make that determination whether or not you'd be willing to hear somebody.
And we did make that motion.
I'm sorry?
In regards to the former mayor, we made the motion to reopen the public comment and other folks came up and spoke as well. I mean, we made the motion,
Guys, we're getting off topic a little bit.
I mean, but that's in regards to public comments.
Sure.
We closed, but then the motion was made to reopen. And we approved to be reopened.
We
And
did.
it allowed other people to speak as well.
We
So,
did. Is that all for you guys? Okay. Aaron, what you got? Staff comments.
All right, thank you. Just have one, staff, we've received, several comments concerns from, citizens pertaining to, garbage cans and issues with, some being left out for extended amounts of time, some overflowing, things along that line.
Sorry, can you clarify? Are these downtown or are these residential?
These are around town, so, residential.
Okay.
The issue that we have is that our ordinance speaks to the appropriate behaviors when you have your cans. But whenever we had House Bill 300, the penalty section was sort of stricken from what we can actually enforce. So if I was just requesting that if it's okay with council, I was going to work with our public works director and bring back penalties for that section, because currently it tells you not to do anything, but there's no penalty if you decide you're not going to do anything about what's being asked of you. So if it's okay with council, consensus wise, I'd like to bring something back to you guys.
Yes.
You got my.
Yes.
Or is it gonna be on the agenda then? Or for next month?
If I can get it all worked up, I hope to bring it to you guys next month for the May meeting.
Aaron, do you want to speak on benches and parking too?
Give me 1 second. So we looked at placement from past bench locations. Give me 1 second. And speaking with Burke and going over the areas, there are 7 locations that we're proposing to put the benches, one in each corner of the quadrants. One on West Elm, one on North Main in the 100 block, and then one on the 200 block. So that would be 7 locations. We do have, I want to say 9, but we typically don't put all of them out at one time. We generally keep 1 or 2 back in the event that anything happens with the benches that are out. So if council would like for the benches to be placed back out, these are the recommended locations from staff.
Okay.
Were the business owners contacted?
No.
No, I think we should ask.
Bonnie, what were you
Because
gonna
I'd heard before, for example, that there used to be a bench in front of the museum. And folks would get off the Link bus and they would sit in those benches all day. And the Coffee Depot owner shortened his hours because of that.
Do we have any authority or right, we could put someone around the courthouse?
So you're talking about in this area here?
Mm-hmm.
County property.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The only concern I have with Councilman Chen's request is that some of these are located not directly in one business frontage. So when you're saying asking permission of the business owners, are we talking the general area businesses that are in that space?
Yes.
Yeah.
The sidewalks are also the city right of way. So,
Yeah, these are all city right away.
Right.
so I don't know if we've asked permission for the planters and things too that have gone out.
No.
So
Well,
just,
not so much asking permission, but just we owe them an opportunity, to state their if they're.
Oh,
pro or
can we
against.
can we get it on the agenda and then have a public hearing about it? Ask for public input?
That's council's pleasure.
I would put forth a motion that we put it on next month's agenda with the public input.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. I believe that benches are something that should be in the downtown. We have seating all around our downtown, and this would only add to the vibrancy. Aaron, did you want to talk about parking as well?
So you're a no vote?
I was a no vote, correct. It was 4-1.
I can jump in on the parking issue. We sent an online survey and had employees visit businesses downtown to ascertain whether they were interested in 2-hour parking or 4-hour parking, or we gave them an other option. Between the two methods, looks like 20 respondents said 4 hours, 14 said, 14 said 2. One person said split the difference at 3. And then we sort of had a combination of other responses of have it metered parking, have it QR code parking where they pay, have some 15 or 30-minute parking spots in front of certain businesses, and have a mix between 2 and 4. I will say if there is any sort of a change, we would have to order new signage, roughly $1,500, and order new ticket books for the PD that specify right now that if it's in excess of 2 hours, then that's what they're getting the penalty for. So.
I had talked to a couple of the business owners and really liked the idea of a couple, because some of our businesses downtown are high turnovers. And so having some spaces that are 30 minutes in front of the very strategic businesses and then having the rest of them be 4 hours. So I'm still very much in favor of maybe having our staff do a study of where the 30 minutes need to be, but changing it to 4 hours.
If I were a business owner, I would want parking spaces to turn over. And you say, give somebody an opportunity to park their car there for 4 hours. That means potentially I miss out on 4 sales.
It really depends on what kind of business you are, because some of our businesses are complaining because their customers are getting tickets while they're in their shops. So they're almost losing patrons because they're getting ticketed. So it does very much depend on what kind of business you have.
Yeah, I think it should just stay 2-hour parking. 4 hours is like, it's, I don't have a business downtown, but I have a business. And there's a few businesses I could say would probably be a little mad if they were high turnover and there was 4-hour parking right there and somebody was parked there. You're just going to be steaming at that car the whole time. I don't see the point in changing it at all. I'm just keeping it the way it is.
I agree with you, Jim. I think it should stay like it is. If you let it go to 4 hours, there's going to be so many employees in the downtown businesses. They'll park for 4 hours and all they got to do is move a couple of spaces down and their 4 hours meter starts again. That's a full 8-hour day.
Bonnie, did you speak?
I did not.
Did you want to speak?
Um,
I'm sorry.
I think some of the business owners that I've talked to, face to face, basically told me that, they would not want someone parking in front of their business for 4 hours. Now, I'm not saying it wouldn't be advantageous for some businesses. Maybe it would. With the theater, you go to see a movie. If that movie's over 2 hours, you're gonna be ticketed.
Yep.
So I get that. I'm not overall in favor of changing it to 4 hours for everything. I would be agreeable to, if we wanted the staff to look into certain areas where we might want to extend certain spaces beyond the 2 hours. But I think just to make it a fell swoop, 4 hours would be unwise. If that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
think it would definitely need to have those 30-minute.
So I think there are, well, I don't know about 30-minute spaces, but I mean, I'm just saying that, because, you go somewhere to eat at a restaurant, I think most of us, and I'm downtown a lot, at Mex AM and Sutton's, I frequent those. I'm usually in and out within an hour or so. But Mex AM has their own parking lot, so it doesn't really matter for them. But I just think it depends on the business largely. But I think the majority of them would be opposed to 4-hour parking in front of their establishment because they want people to go in and out. They want people to come in and leave, come in and leave, come in and leave, spend that money. So, but as I said, I wouldn't be opposed to, if we wanted the staff to look into certain areas where we might do a couple of spaces that way or something here or there, but I wouldn't want to do all of them 4 hours. That's just my opinion.
There's 7 spots around the courthouse that are painted reserved. I don't see why though we couldn't, talk to the county and maybe have a reserved until 4 PM when there's nobody there. They have one judge that goes to that courthouse. He parks between the statue and the courthouse. The rest of them are private vehicles from the deputies who happen to have a huge parking lot, and some of them need the cardio. They need to walk. But that's 7 parking spots that nobody parks there the whole weekend when nobody is there doing any kind of county business. So maybe we could talk to the county and say, hey, we foot the bill for the signage, after 4 or 6 parking for everybody. And I mean, that's 7 spots. It's not much, but you know, if you're,
7 spots.
you pretty much circle until you're all in. But it's just an idea.
Yeah. Aaron, it sounds like we're not ready to make a decision, but we'll keep working on this parking stuff. But I appreciate both of y'all getting the survey out. I believe too, staff went down on a Monday, and so I think we could have gone down on like a different day too, which I'll go down and help talk to people as well. But anything else from staff? Okay. Jim, you want to kick us off? Council comments?
I do have some comments. The gentleman that spoke, you're 100% correct. And while, you know, the motion was made when the former mayor came up, we also had an individual here prior to that. I think it was in February's meeting when he had been here all night and he wanted to speak. And I made the motion that we allow him to speak, and it was voted down. I think what we need to do, if we're going to do that, if we're going to make considerations and make motions like that, we need to be consistent, regardless of who it is that comes up here. You know, when it happened at the last meeting, you know, I couldn't believe it because I knew, you know, exactly what was going through my head was when Daniel wanted to speak. And it doesn't make us look very, very good. And we should be consistent, and we either allow it every time or we don't allow it at all. And, you know, I know that when we don't allow it and people are in the back raising their hands or laughing or giggling or grunting, whatever, we just have to use that gavel, and we either don't let them speak or we open it back up and let them speak. But we've got to be consistent on that. We can't, I mean, he was 100% correct. We've got to be consistent in that if we do it. The gentleman that I spoke to you last meeting, HRC meeting about the traffic. This was the time that I was going to bring it up. But I did want to ask, is that, what road is that? Because I don't think you ever, okay. Is it a state controlled road? The DOT road. Okay.
Schools or Graham schools.
That might be why the highway patrol was able to do so much. Yeah. Yeah, but I told you I would bring it up and you beat me to it.
Jim, I think the next step in that is just to direct Megan and Aaron to have our police patrol.
And one more thing, Aaron brought up about the trash and stuff, and not just people leaving their receptacles out. I think it probably happens a lot when there's a holiday and people don't realize the trash isn't being picked up, so they leave it out there all weekend. Or week, however long it takes for the holiday to, whatever the garbage schedule is. But I don't know if anybody here has driven down Ivy Road, but it looks like a garbage truck has just dumped its entire load along Ivy Road. And I would like to look at increasing the fines for littering, and maybe ask the police department to go out there, and we catch some people, they pay out their butt because they littered, and maybe we can at least curb it a little bit. And I know I don't want to make it seem like we're asking the police to do everything. Unfortunately, they're the ones that would have to do it. And I know they can't be out there every day, but just every once in a while, we catch 1 or 2 people, maybe, the message will get heard. But if they have a stout fine, they'd think about it twice. And I have one more thing. Let's see here. Make sure I get it worded right. I'd like to request that a motion be placed on the next meeting's consent agenda to officially recognize Juneteenth as a holiday for the city of Graham. This will give the staff necessary time to prepare and set up this recognition. Juneteenth symbolizes freedom and the end of slavery, and formally acknowledging it will show our commitment to honoring this important part of our nation's history. So I'd like to put that on next month's consent. Unless we want to go ahead and make a motion and vote on it now.
Do you mind if I hop in? Because that was one of mine, and I was actually going to.
Well, I beat you to it.
You did. I'm so excited. My request was that we make it a city holiday, that we add it to our city list.
Yeah, I asked Megan about that earlier, so
okay.
yeah, that's part of it.
So yes, I would entertain a motion if that's something that we want to do now.
Oh, we shouldn't vote on it tonight. It should be done.
Don't do it at the next meeting, that's fine with me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Can we put it on as new business, Megan?
It can go on either new business or I believe his motion requested consent agenda. I will just,
Say new business.
Yeah, we just need to give staff the time to prepare.
Be new business.
yeah, it would be a personnel policy revision to add that to the schedule of holidays.
Okay,
Thank you,
Thank you.
Megan.
I'm good with that.
Thank you, Jim. Anything else? That was your last?
No.
Oh, okay. Ricky, what you got?
I have one thing. I would like to ask for this council's consent that we, from here on out, use our advertising dollars to advertise with the Times News, because there are they publish 3 days a week versus the one. And, a lot of times we get caught having to wait for the one day for everything to get posted
Is this instead of the Alamance News?
instead of the Alamance News. Yes.
Do you have anything to add?
I don't.
Okay, okay.
Are you entertaining
ho-
any comments on that?
Not at this time.
So you're not
Ho-
making a decision about it either?
We're not making a decision.
Okay, thank you. I would
Um,
like to speak on it time comes.
That will, if the rest of council also wants to talk about it, it will be placed on a new business.
Yes.
Does the rest of council want to talk?
Sure.
That's my.
Jim,
Will that be eligible for a hearing?
I will talk to you afterwards. We can't do the back and forth right now.
I want to be sure it's a public hearing so that I can see your general
Hey.
policy is not.
Tom, I'm sorry, we can't do the back and forth. I will talk to you afterwards. Bonnie,
would
do you
insist on
have,
that.
I'm sorry, Bonnie's turn.
It's Bobby's actually, if Ricky's.
Oh, I was going in and in.
Oh, yes.
We
Oh,
changed it
okay.
up. We changed it up.
All right.
It's
whatever
your
you
turn.
say. Okay. I just wanted to piggyback on the House Bill 300 thing that removed all the criminal offenses from all North Carolina ordinances. I had spoken with the police chief about this when the lady's dog got attacked about a month ago. She had her dog on a leash and another dog was loose, attacked it, jerked the leash out of her hand. I believe she got bitten and unfortunately the dog passed away. And they couldn't charge the individual with any criminal charges, even though it was not the first offense. So I would really like to, I believe, Megan, that the chief talked to you and gave you some verbiage on that as well, that we could, because we can add individually, we can add criminal penalties back to the ordinances we think should have them, like Aaron had just said. So I would like to get that particular one for sure, if it's okay with you guys on the agenda next month to change that one, because, I hear of it all too many times and it was very sad. And, it destroyed that woman. So, and there's just no excuse for that. So if I could just get a consent from you guys just for specifically to bring that one up next month and get that fixed to start with. I know we need to look at all of them, but specifically that one. Also, yeah, we have a,
Yeah,
did
you
we
got
get a
it.
consensus? Okay. I also want to read a statement real quickly, and I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can. Last month, for the first time in 4 years on this council, I was accused of being disrespectful, of making faces, and I was lectured about honor. Let me be clear, I do not need a lecture on honor. I spent 25 years in the United States Air Force living it. I carried it in uniform, in service, and how I conduct myself every day. So if I unintentionally offended anyone, I do apologize. That was not my intent. But what we are seeing now goes far beyond a facial expression. And let's be honest about something. This chamber is not free of expressions. People react, people talk, people laugh, sigh, and show frustration during meetings. It happens in this room. It happens on this dais. It happens during difficult discussions. What matters is not a momentary reaction, but how we conduct ourselves overall. What we are seeing now is a shift away from facts towards narratives. The park issue did not begin last month. It did not begin last year. It has been discussed since 2016. Warnings were given, opportunities were missed. And now that action is required, the conversation has been overtaken not by facts, but by noise. And much of that noise is coming from social media, a place where speculation spreads faster than truth, where assumptions are treated like evidence, where people attack from behind a screen and are rewarded for being the loudest, not the most accurate. That environment does not inform, it inflames. And when that same tone begins to show up in media coverage, we got a serious problem. Because the role of the media is not to amplify outrage, it is not to shape narratives through tone, implication, or selective framing. It is to inform the public fairly and consistently. But when coverage repeatedly singles out one individual, when it leans on implication instead of fact, when it drifts from reporting into storytelling, people notice. I've been on the receiving end of that pattern, not just recently, but going back years, when details about my personal life that were irrelevant to my service were made public without my consent. That was not necessary. That did not serve this community, and it did not build trust. At the same time, we've seen public positions that have shifted, and some shifted quickly. Jerry Peterman told me he supported relocating the park and even had ideas to expand the original vision, but now he criticizes it. Jane Albright told Mr. Compton she supported his idea of moving the park. Now she opposes it. Griffin McClure stood in these chambers and asked us to just keep the park downtown, and now he criticizes us for doing exactly that. Now that's their right. It's your right, it's my right, it's everybody's right to change their mind. But let's not pretend the public conversation has been consistent or grounded in facts. And I will say this clearly, based on communications that have been seen, it is apparent that our current mayor is not acting independently, but is relying heavily on input from Griffin McClure. When I say I've spoken with people on both sides of this issue, I mean it. I have had those conversations face to face. Not everything happens online. Not everything comes in a text message. And the absence of a digital record does not make those conversations any less real or any less factual. But somehow that was turned into an accusation that I was being dishonest. That is not accountability. That's an attempt to discredit. Now, I understand that public service comes with scrutiny, and I accept that. I accepted it when I accepted this job. But scrutiny must come with fairness, it must come with consistency, and it must be grounded in truth, not driven by narrative. Right now, fairness is being drowned out by headlines, drowned out by commentary, drowned out by a cycle that rewards conflict over accuracy. And that is not good for this council. It is not good for this city. And it's not good for the people we serve. I will continue to do my job as I always have, with integrity and care. I will continue to stand on my record, but I will not be defined by narratives that do not reflect reality. We don't all have to agree, but we do have to be honest. And we do have to be fair with one another. Thank you. Is all.
Thanks, Bonnie. Bobby, you got anything?
Nope.
All right. All right. I have a couple things. We approved our procedures, last month, and then Renee and I found under Rule 16, the order of business, it has our agenda, not how we usually do it. And so changing it back to how Renee, you want me to just read it out, how we usually do it? Okay. Pledge and invocation, adoption of agenda, recognitions, presentations, proclamations, approval of consent agenda, and approval of previous meeting minutes in that. Old business, public hearing, and then new business, public comments, admin reports, council reports. Got it? So just moving it back around to how we actually operate. That was the first thing. The DOT truck route for downtown. I talked to Aaron. We have log trucks and other semis that come through our downtown. It's a safety issue. It's also an aesthetic issue. I talked to Aaron about it. He said that council needs a consensus, and then he could go to DOT. This is not rerouting the interstate. That's what Eden did, and that's a problem. This is only telling the big trucks that their GPS route will take them a different way. Is that something that council would like staff to look into?
Talking about the property over.
This is just
Talking
going
about
around our
Right
downtown.
here, around the
No,
court square.
yeah, I see the trucks.
In favor?
I would be,
My father was a truck driver and he drove for Associated Transport, which is with Burlington and Alamance County. That's history. I do agree that when the way some of them come through is a nuisance. But I would probably, I would rather not get involved in that to affect and I know it's just routing them around somewhere else. I would rather not get into something that's going to affect the truck driver's income or their livelihood. Now I'll go with what council wants to do. That's my opinion.
It's only identifying another route and Burke has already identified a couple routes that would work, and
Can we
be.
see those routes?
Sure. This is basically what we're
We're not voting.
yeah, we're not.
no,
voting on
we're
it.
asking staff to
Look into it.
as a
Okay.
consensus.
What happened about the crematorium over here? The trucks were going down there. Did we get that handled?
So Bird, myself, we met with the police chief as well. There are two separate issues occurring at that location. Are the trucks tearing the roads up there at Bruce Turney? They're not. So the concern for us of the trucks using that road to go back and forth, it's not creating a maintenance issue for the city. However, if we're looking at trying to not allow them to park on that road, then that's a separate conversation of a traffic schedule change. Or are we saying that you were limiting the weight of the truck that use that road? The issue with that is that our police department, they don't have scales. And the DMV folks are not going to, they already say they're not going to enforce anything on a city street for weight. So that would have our folks having to do that, which would require some heavy lifting to be able to do that. So we're still looking into it because it's two separate issues of whether the solution is going one way or another way, but neither one of them is clear at this time. So we're still studying it.
Thank you.
But you do have consensus to move forward on exploring DOT reroutes.
Yeah,
I just wanted to clarify
yeah.
that since we hopped off that topic.
I'll reach out to them and, I'll see what their response is to what can or can't be done, and I'll bring it back for council.
Thank you so much. All right, next thing, our skateboard ordinance is very restrictive to the point where it doesn't allow for wagons and possibly even strollers on our sidewalks. This is just something that I'm asking consensus for staff to take a look at and bring it back. Because, like you said, we're just figuring out what ordinances do and don't work for us. But our ordinance is very restrictive.
How does it restrict strollers or anything like that? It specifically calls out skateboards not being allowed on the sidewalk.
Motive device propelled or designated for human power, including but not limited to tricycles, scooters, skateboards, roller skates, rollerblades, sled, wagon. So it's very restrictive. And if you read some of like Burlington or Mebane, it's a little bit more inclusive. And it calls out the allowance of wheelchairs and things like that, that I would like for them to look at.
Well, that's kind of an ADA thing. I don't think
It
anyone
is.
can tell a wheelchair they can't be on the sidewalk. I would
Usually-
challenge anyone to do that. I wouldn't do it.
This is one of those things, when you try to begin identifying all the things you don't want versus,
but
if it's not listed as on the restricted, that means you can use it. I mean, it doesn't say baby strollers.
It does say
Usually-
wagons. We have a lot of wagons during our parades. Those would all be illegal.
On the sidewalks?
On the sidewalks, on the, any municipal building or park facility, and also, public vehicular area. This is all that I'm asking, is that we give it to them and look at it and see if that's actually what we want it to say. I'm not saying we change it tonight. I'm saying we give it to our staff.
I'm just against over-regulating.
I am absolutely with you, and that's what I'm trying to not do, is not overregulate. I want to be able to have ordinances that we stand by and that we can enforce, and that they are not overregulating our people.
I don't mind it as long as we keep the bicycles and skateboards on.
Okay.
Also.
Do I have a consensus that we can toss this to staff to look at?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, guys. Okay. Thursdays at 7 are coming up. I'm very excited. I've also been talking to some of our police department. We have a really fun environment at Thursdays at 7, and there is an understanding that there's alcohol there. Jim, I am okay with the alcohol. I want it to be legal. I don't want to put our officers or our community members in any kind of bind or having, I don't want people to have to look the other way. And I feel like that's what's happening now with the amount of alcohol that is understood to be consumed at Thursdays at 7. What I'm proposing is that we have a social district for Thursdays at 7 on that street so that we have a legal way for people to consume and a legal way for our police department to monitor this.
That makes sense. For that area at that time, yeah.
I'm very opposed to it.
I say we put it on the agenda and discuss it.
Okay. Thank you.
Could we let the public come and comment on that?
Oh, we definitely need to do that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely think we should have a public hearing on something like that.
'Cause
That's pretty
I
important.
don't have all the Baptist preachers here.
Okay.
There's a process by which general statute spells out if you determine that you want to implement a social district. It's been a couple of weeks, or a couple of months since I looked at it, but there may be a public comment or public hearing as a part of that. But we would have
It
to
is
conform
required.
with statute on that.
Is there anything we could do without enacting a social district that would allow it in that area? Or is it always just been, they turned a blind eye and didn't pay
Well, I mean, we're doing it now with Arts Around the Square,
I
you know.
know there's one
it-
formal counselor
event-driven,
that's always out there.
Right?
And he
There's,
is in
it's
the wind.
event-driven, so.
Are you saying, is there a way to hear from people?
Without doing, well, I know we could just ask people to speak on it, but, without going and saying it's a social district and we designated that, is there something else we could do that would allow that to happen in that area at that time?
Somebody would have to pull a permit, and similar to Arts Around the Square, and that is, I don't think that we can put that on our Parks and Rec department.
Well, couldn't the city pull the permit and the city?
But somebody has to be out there selling the alcohol.
Yeah.
Because you don't, if we do a social district, and you don't have to make a big deal that it's a
Are they
social
giving it
district.
away now?
Giving away
The alcohol?
the alcohol?
I understand.
Okay.
No, not to yuck your yum, but people are BYOBing their alcohol. The note, to my knowledge, no one is selling it. There's not a distributor out there. You
Yeah.
just kind of take your cooler or whatever you
And your
bring it
Yeti.
in. Mhm.
Well, they shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Maybe.
And my thing is, I don't care if we drink or we don't drink, but we should be providing the best situation for our police department to enforce what we are providing for them to
Does
enforce.
seem like we might.
Why aren't they
be
enforcing it
liable
now?
For something, especially now since it's
Yeah.
out in the ether.
Maybe we should start outlawing, the
Can you speak
coolers.
in your?
Maybe we should outlaw the coolers, point blank.
Yeah, but if we do that, they can't stay hydrated and bring water and
Yeah.
stuff. I don't want to get into that, but.
Okay.
There's-
I think this is maybe a bigger issue. Can we put it on new business for next month?
Yes.
To
Okay.
discuss it? Sure.
Yes, to discuss it.
To discuss it as a potential social district, is that, just so we're clear on what we're going to advertise to the public?
I don't know about that word, those words.
What would you like it to say?
I mean, I don't see why it can't be, event-driven like Arts Around the Square. I mean, if you want to do it, you know, I don't want people like wandering in and out of the bars, you know, with drink in hand.
Brian,
I'm not
would you mind
about that.
coming up? And just talking about the process for alcohol at Arts Around the Square, and if it's possible at Thursdays at 7.
I'll give it my best shot. Arch Around the Square is specifically identified the area in which folks can consume alcohol, specifically identified by us based on site plan approved by you guys for that one particular day. All of that was born out of a request from a business to allow that. To my knowledge, that request has not been made for anything else other than Arch Around the Square. And I'll leave it there.
Okay. Thank you, sir. How would you like it
So the-
reflected on the agenda?
Well, I mean,
Designated alcoholic beverage area. We'll come
Can
up
we
with
just
something.
say Thursdays at 7? Concert series discussion, is that enough?
For Thursday at 7 concerts.
I was going to say, who sponsors it? Because really, I mean,
We, the city, sponsor it.
okay.
It is
So-
technically a city event. As you'll recall, the city council, probably 2 or 3 years ago, approved a sponsorship policy. So there are businesses who contribute
And they
to
can-
this event and others. So while it is city sponsored, there are funds that come from other places that help fund the event.
You can't sugarcoat this. This is a social district drink.
And I mean, that's what you're proposing, so.
Can we
um,
put social district on the agenda?
Sure.
Thank you.
But then it would require
I think we're moving to put it on the agenda and,
Yep.
and talk about it then. Okay. Last thing. Half thing. I just want to say thanks to the Parks and Recreation. They did an incredible job and the commission for the Hall of Fame. It was a really beautiful event. Now, last thing. Our banners downtown, and I liked Ronnie's comment about we're doing a really cool event downtown, and maybe if we can't replace them by Arts Around the Square, maybe we should take down the really faded banners.
How many banners are there?
There are, I should know this, 50. Yeah.
It's more than what's up that can be up.
Do you know what the cost of them was?
Well, hold on. This is a whole big thing. This is my whole thing, is banners.
Okay.
We have our city staff that has a new logo that is ready to design and put banners up. We also have GABA that's also designing banners at the same time, and nobody really knows who's doing what.
What's GABA?
The Graham Area Business Association. So the city staff owns the banners, they own the hardware. It's a city staff banner project. In the past, GABA has contributed funds. But what we need to do to give staff clear direction on who is in charge or who has creative liberties, so that the city knows if they are doing it or if they are tasked to partner with GABA, so that we can actually get banners up. Because right now, nobody really knows who's doing what.
Well, whoever pays the band picks the music. So I would say whoever writes the biggest check gets to pick the.
I will also say that the city of Graham just rebranded. And so if we want to do something around our rebrand, maybe the city staff should hold that, but we need to decide one way or the other so we have a method.
It's always been a partnership, right, between the Graham Business Association and the city. Is that correct?
Yes, the last time it was GABA in conjunction with the city of Graham.
Okay.
It funneled itself through the Appearance Commission. But to the mayor's point, we don't know staff-wise, are we working with GABA on the new iteration of the banners, or are we still going through the Appearance Commission? Or, I guess we just need to have a clear direction, because if, we are putting the money into it, are we getting any money from GABA, or are we, I guess we just have to have an idea of what we're doing going forward.
Sounds like we need to talk to the business association then.
Do we have an idea of what all the banners will cost us?
Generally, I mean, it's hard to put a number on it with today's money versus yesteryear's money. I would probably say, let's just say $20,000 would probably be a good number to sort of say would cover the banners. I think it's like 104-ish that we purchased the last time. And yes, we run through every one of those banners. To his point, they get tattered pretty quickly after sitting up for a long time, weathering. After a while, a few of them got hit by trucks or whatever at some point. So we do have to replace them pretty frequently as well.
I don't see an issue with us, the city, taking that project over ourselves.
Yeah, but I do think we need to talk to the business association, see if they're willing to kick in and help. They do have money, so.
But we've become the driving partner.
So Jim and Bobby, what I'm hearing from Bonnie and Ricky is that we want Kaylee to drive the designs and then see if the GABA will kick in money. But we will.
Would those be approved by council, the Appearance Commission, or both?
The Appearance Commission first.
I would prefer it to be done as council.
Can we request that once Appearance Commission's worked on them, that they will come before council?
Yes, that we can do that.
Okay.
And I think that's how they worked the last time. They ended up being before council at the very end, so.
Okay.
So council, what are we approving, the design
We're approving the design. They cannot,
I think that's a staff issue. Let the staff pick that design.
well, it's already at the Appearance Commission
Yeah.
level. And so if we want it just to be in the Appearance Commission's hands,
I have no problem.
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
So what you have from us is that Kaylee can design and then take before Appearance Commission. And then Appearance Commission can make final edits and approve it from there. And then it'll just come before us to get funded.
To your point about, so are we asking Gabba anything on the?
You're asking GABA if they want to help
Yeah, I definitely
kick in
think
money.
we should see if they want to, help with the cost like they did last time. So.
All right, and that is all that I have. Jim, I'm going to rely on you to make a motion for closed session because you've got the numbers in front of you.
Okay, I make a motion, we go into closed session to discuss a personal issue in accordance with NCGS section 143-318.11A6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And yes, ma'am, can I get a clarification that this is in fact a city employee that's to be discussed?
It's a personnel issue.
Well, the reason I'm asking is that only city personnel, city employees are covered, not the council, not consultants, not general personnel issue. That's what the statute says, and since I didn't know it was coming up ahead of time, I didn't have a chance to ask you what was intended, but I would just like to be sure that it's restricted to those areas covered by the statute.
I would defer to Bob.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody here?
I make a
Uh,
motion, we come out of public hearing,
Second?
We weren't in public hearing, we were in closed session.
closed session, I'm sorry. I make a motion, we come back into open session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?